हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। तो आज के वीडियो में हम देखने वाले हैं इकोनॉमिक्स का टेस्ट सीरीज़, जिसमें आज हम देखेंगे सेट 2। तो शुरू करते हैं हमारा आज का टेस्ट सीरीज़, और आप भी मेरे साथ अटेंड कीजिए, और अगर आपको आंसर आता है तो मुझे कमेंट्स में बताइए। सो हमारा फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, इन एन इकोनॉमी देयर इज इंक्रीज इन द ग्रोथ ऑफ रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट एज ए परसेंटेज ऑफ फिजिकल डेफिसिट, व्हाट डज इट मीन? It points to deterioration in the quality of government expenditure involving lower capital formation. It points to the improvement in the quality of government expenditure involving increased capital formation. It translates to an increased unemployment. None of the above. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए। It points to deterioration in the quality of government expenditure involving lower capital formation. Which of the following forms a part of the capital receipts in a government budget? Loans raised by the government from public, PSU disinvestments, recoveries of loan from state governments, cash grants in aid from foreign countries, interest received on account of loans by the central government. Choose the correct code. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए 1, 2 and 3. Loans raised by the government from public, PSU disinvestments and recoveries of loan from state government. Consider the following statements about Goods and Service Tax Council. It is a constitutional body for making recommendation to the union and state government on issues related to goods and service tax. It is chaired by a person nominated by the Prime Minister and consists of Chief Minister of all the states as its members. One half of the total number of members of the Goods and Service Tax Council shall constitute the quorum at its meetings. Choose the correct code. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी 1 and 3 only. It is a constitutional body for making recommendations to the union and state government on issues related to goods and service tax, and one half of the total number of members of the Goods and Services Tax Council shall constitute the quorum at its meeting. Consider the following statements about GST. All administrative control over the taxpayer having turnover below rupees 1.5 crore would vest with state government, while that of taxpayer having turnover of above rupees 1.5 crore would vest with the central government only. Power to collect GST in territorial waters shall be delegated by central government to the states. Choose the correct code. This answer is option B 2 only. Power to collect GST in territorial waters shall be delegated by central government to the states. Consider the following statements about primary deficit. It shows how much government borrowing is going to meet expenses other than interest payments. An increase in primary deficit is reflective of government's effort at bridging the fiscal gap during a financial year. Choose the correct code. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए 1 only. It shows how much government borrowing is going to meet expenses other than interest payments. Which of the following forms a part of capital account? Offshore funds, FDI, FII, external commercial borrowings, shipping, banking. Choose the correct code. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी 1, 2, 3 and 4 only. Offshore funds, FDI, FII and external commercial borrowings. Foreign exchange rate is the price of one currency in terms of another. What will be the immediate effect of increase in forex rate in the Indian context? A rise in price of foreign exchange will increase the demand for imports. FDI flows into India will stop. A rise in price of foreign exchange will reduce the demand for imports. Remittances from other countries to India will increase. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी. A rise in price of foreign exchange will reduce the demand for imports. Consider the following statements about the minimum support price. It is announced by the Government of India at the beginning of the sowing season for certain crops, on the basis of the recommendation of the Commission for Agricultural Cost and Prices. At present, MSP is announced for 22 mandated crops. Choose the correct code. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी both 1 and 2. It is announced by the Government of India at the beginning of the sowing season for certain crops on the basis of the recommendation of the Commission for Agriculture agricultural costs and prices, and at present MSP is announced for 22 mandated crops. Arrange the following food grains in the increasing order of their production million tons in 2016 to 17. राइस, व्हीट, ऑयल सीड्स, शुगर कैन। तो इसमें पहले आएगा शुगर कैन, फिर आएगा ऑयल सीड्स, फिर व्हीट और राइस। तो इसका आंसर होगा ऑप्शन ए 4 less than 3 less than 2 less than 1. Consider the following statements. Varietal replacement ratio is a measure of how much of the total crop area was sown with certified seed in comparison to farm-saved seeds. Seed replacement rate is the rate at which the replacement of varieties presently in cultivation with new varieties. Choose the correct code. This answer is option D, none of the above. As per the Economic Survey 2017-18, there has been a large increase in which of the following taxpayers: registered direct taxpayers, registered indirect taxpayers, both direct and indirect taxpayers, none of the above. This answer is option C, both direct and indirect taxpayers. Price stabilization fund is constituted for the purpose of containing extreme volatility in prices of selected commodities. Which of the following agricultural commodities are included in the PSF established in 2015? Onion, potato, pulses. Choose the correct code. This answer is option D, all of the above: onion, potato and pulses. Consider the following statements about international export of states. As per the survey of 2017-18, 5 states Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Telangana account for 70% of India's export. It is for the first time that the economic survey has included data on the international exports of states. Top 1% of Indian firms account only for 38% of exports, unlike in other countries where they account for substantially greater share. Choose the correct code. This answer is option D, all of the above. As per the survey of 2017-18, 5 states Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Telangana account for 70% of India's export. It is for the first time that the economic survey has included data on the international exports of states, and top 1% of Indian firms account only for 38% of exports, unlike in other countries where they account for substantially greater share. Consider the following statements about the Logistics Performance Index. It is an annual report released by the World Bank to help countries identify the challenges and opportunities they face in their performance on trade logistics and what they can do to improve their performance. India's rank improved to 35th rank in 2016 from 54th rank in previous report in terms of overall logistic performance. Choose the correct code. This answer is option B, 2 only. India's rank improved to 35th rank in 2016 from 54th rank in previous report in terms of overall logistic performance. Consider the following statements about National Food Security Act 2013. It was started by the Ministry of Agriculture. The Act provides for coverage of up to 75% of the rural population and up to 50% of the urban population for receiving subsidized food grains under targeted public distribution system. It entails provision for food security allowance to entitled beneficiary in case of non-supply of entitled food grains or meals. Choose the correct code. This answer is option B, 2 and 3 only. The Act provides for coverage of up to 75% of rural population and up to 50% of the urban population for receiving subsidized food grains under targeted public distribution, and it entails provision for food security allowance to entitled beneficiaries in case of non-supply of entitled food grains or meals. Which of the following industries are included exclusively in public sector? Railways, atomic energy, atomic minerals, mining of copper and zinc. Choose the correct code. This answer is option A 1, 2 and 3 only. Railways, atomic energy and atomic minerals. Which of the following forms a part of the money market? RBI, commercial banks, SCBI, mutual funds, payment banks. Choose the correct code. This answer is option B 1, 2, 4 and 5 only. RBI, commercial banks, mutual funds and payment banks. Consider the following statements about treasury bills. They are money market instruments which are short-term debt instruments issued by the central government. Treasury bills can be issued by all the states. Choose the correct code. This answer is option A 1 only. They are money market instruments which are short-term debt instruments issued by the central government. Consider the following statements about government securities. Fixed rate bonds are those on which the coupon rate is fixed for the entire life, that means till maturity of the bond. SGBs are unique instruments, prices of which are linked to commodity price, namely gold. Capital index bonds are those the principal of which is linked to an accepted index of inflation with a view to protecting the principal amount of the investors from inflation. Choose the correct code. This answer is option D, all of the above. Fixed rate bonds are those on which the coupon rate is fixed for the entire life, that means till maturity of the bond. SGBs are unique instruments, prices of which are linked to commodity price, namely gold. And capital index bonds are those the principal of which is linked to an accepted index of inflation with a view to protecting the principal amount of the investors from inflation. Consider the following statements. Consumer Price Index based headline inflation averaged 3.3% in 2017-18, which is lowest in the last 6 financial years. Indian logistic industry has grown at compounded annual growth rate of 7.8% during the last 5 financial years. Choose the correct code. This answer is option C, both 1 and 2. Consumer Price Index based headline inflation averaged 3.3% in 2017-18, which is lowest in the last 6 financial years. And Indian logistic industry has grown at compounded annual growth rate of 7.8% during the last 5 financial years. Consider the following statements about Agri-Udan. It is an initiative by the Ministry of Science and Technology. It aims at improving the output of agriculture sector amidst global warming through climate smart technologies. Choose the correct code. This answer is option D, none of the above. What is the objective of the Digital India initiative named Electronic Development Fund? Ensuring duty-free import of electronic items, net zero import of electronic items, strengthening of PSUs in the electronic sectors, giving impetus to export-related industries of electronic items. This can answer option B, net zero import of electronic items. Which of the following are correctly matched? Waterways location: NW1 Haldia Allahabad, NW2 Kollam Kottapuram, NW3 Dubri Satya, NW4 Kakinada Puducherry. Choose the correct code. This answer is option B, 1 and 4 only. NW1 Haldia Allahabad and NW4 Kakinada Puducherry. Consider the following statements about real effective exchange rate. The real effective exchange rate of rupee is calculated with dollar only. It reflects the exchange rate of rupee adjusted to domestic inflation. It is calculated against the exchange rate movements of currencies of all UN members. Choose the correct code. This answer is option C, 2 only. It reflects the exchange rate of rupee adjusted for domestic inflation. Consider the following statements. Mission Raftar is a Ministry of Railways initiative which envisages a target of doubling of average speed of freight trains and increasing the average speed of all non-suburban passenger trains by 25 km per hour in the next 5 years. India's first National Rail and Transportation University is set up in Vadodara. Project Swan has been started to upgrade the condition of Rajdhani and Shatabdi express trains. Choose the correct code. This answer option D, all of the above. Mission Raftar is a Ministry of Railways initiative which envisages a target of doubling of average speeds of freight trains and increasing the average speed of all non-suburban passenger trains by 25 km per hour in the next 5 years. India's first National Rail and Transportation University is set up in Vadodara. Project Swan has been started to upgrade the condition of Rajdhani and Shatabdi express trains. The government has fixed different taxes slabs for varied groups of individuals. For which of the following groups are there different slabs? General taxpayers, senior citizens, very senior citizens, children. Select the code from following. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए 1, 2 and 3. General taxpayers, senior citizen and very senior citizens. Which of the following statements are correct regarding capital gains tax? It is taxed when sizable of money is received due to an investment or sale of property. Short-term capital gains tax is levied on the gains received by an investment held for less than 36 months. A new 10% tax on long-term capital gains on sale of listed securities exceeding rupees 1 lakh without indexation has been proposed in the Union Budget 2018. Select the code from following. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, all of the above. It is taxed when sizable of money is received due to an investment or sale of property. Short-term capital gains tax is levied on the gains received by an investment held for less than 36 months, and a new 10% tax on long-term capital gains on sale of listed securities exceeding rupees 1 lakh without indexation has been proposed in the Union Budget 2018. Which of the following statements are correct regarding dividend tax? It is a tax levied on the company on the net profits received by it in a financial year. It is a tax levied on the dividend paid by the company to its shareholders in a financial year. It is an indirect tax levied by the company on its consumers to pay dividend to its shareholders. It is an indirect tax levied by the government on the international shareholders of Indian company. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी. It is a tax levied on the dividend paid by the company to its shareholder in a financial year. Which of the following were the objectives behind setting up public sector undertakings after independence? To build a self-reliant economy, to prevent or reduce concentration of private economic power, establish sound economic infrastructure, assist in ancillarization and spread the benefits of industrialization. Select the correct answer. This answer is option D, all of the above. To build a self-reliant economy, to prevent or reduce concentration of private economic powers, establish sound economic infrastructure, and assist in ancillarization and spread the benefits of industrialization. Which of the following statements is incorrect about Competition Commission of India? CCI is a statutory body established under the Competition Act 2002. The Act prohibits anti-competitive agreements, abuse of dominant position by enterprises, and regulates combination, acquisition, acquiring of control, and M&A, which causes or likely to cause an appreciable adverse effect on competition within India, applicably only for state and center-owned establishments. The Commissioner is required to give opinion on competition issues on a reference received from a statutory authority established under any law, and to undertake competition advocacy, create public awareness, and impart training on competition issues. To promote and sustain an enabling competition culture through engagement and enforcement that would inspire business to be fair, competitive, and innovative, enhance consumer welfare, and support economic growth. तो इसमें इनकरेक्ट स्टेटमेंट का है, तो इसका आंसर होगा ऑप्शन बी। द एक्ट प्रोहिबिट्स एंटी कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्रीमेंट्स, एब्यूज ऑफ डोमिनेंट पोजीशन बाय एंटरप्राइजेस एंड रेगुलेट्स combination, acquisition, acquiring of control, and M&A, which causes or likely to cause an appreciable adverse effect on competition within India, applicable only for state and center-owned establishment. The Department of Disinvestment has been renamed as Department of Investment and Public Asset Management. Consider the following statement. It is a department under the Ministry of Heavy Industries and Public Enterprises. The new department has been mandated to advise the government in the matters of financial restructuring of central public sector enterprises and for attracting investment through capital markets. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, chaired by the Prime Minister, gives his approval for the procedure and mechanism for strategic disinvestment. Which of the above statements are correct? This answer is option C, 2 and 3 only. What is the difference between quaternary and quaternary activities? While quaternary activities are related to IT-enabled services, quaternary activities are related to financial services. Quaternary activities pertain to information processing, whereas quaternary activities pertain to decision making. Both A and B, none of the above. This answer is option B. Quaternary activities pertain to information processing, whereas quaternary activities pertain to decision making. Which of the following are correctly matched? Government borrowings from the Reserve Bank and Treasury Bills capital account, different proceeds of taxes levied by the government revenue account, market loans raised by the government capital account, disinvestment of equity holding in public sector enterprises revenue account. Select the correct code. This answer is option D, all of the above. 1, 2, 3 and 4. With reference to the concept of food security as enacted in the FAO World Food Summit 1996, which of the following are the integral component of food security? The availability of sufficient quantities of food of appropriate quality supplied through domestic production or imports, including food aid, access by individual to adequate resources for acquiring appropriate foods for a nutritious diet, utilization of food through adequate diet, clean water, sanitation and healthcare to reach a state of nutritional well-being where all physiological needs are met, the freedom to choose personally and culturally acceptable foods. Select the correct answer from the codes given below. This answer is option C, 1, 2 and 3. Ultra mega power projects are Government of India initiatives. Consider the following statements regarding UMPP. Every ultra mega power plant will have a capacity to generate more than 10,000 megawatt. They are all hydropower projects. Which of the above statements are correct? This answer is option D, neither 1 nor 2. Which of the following is not one of the core industries? Coal, natural gas, refinery products, textiles. This answer is option D, textiles. Consider the following statement with reference to taxation. Higher direct tax helps in controlling inflation in the economy. Higher indirect taxes help in controlling the inflation in the economy. Which of the above statement is correct? This answer is option A, 1 only. Higher direct taxes help in controlling inflation in the economy. Consider the following statement with reference to the National Investment Fund. Money raised through the disinvestment of the PSUs is credited to the NIF. All the profits generated by NIF can only be used to fund social sector schemes. Which of the above statements is or are correct? Next answer is option A, 1 only. Money raised through the disinvestment of the PSUs is credited to the NIF. Study the table given below and answer the question. Size of tax base, tax rate, tax amount. Rupees 10,000, 10%, rupees 1,000. Rupees 50,000, 5%, rupees 2,500. Rupees 1 lakh, 3%, rupees 3,000. The above table is an example of progressive taxation, regressive taxation, proportional taxation, none of the above. This answer is option B, regressive taxation. Consider the following statements about taxes levied on imported goods. Countervailing duty is levied on goods that are sold below the prices in exporting country. Anti-dumping duty is levied to counterbalance the subsidies provided by the government of exporting country. Which of the above statements is correct? Its answer is option D, neither one nor two. Consider the following statements with reference to the denaturalization of the stock exchange. Demutualization means the separation of the ownership from the management in the day-to-day running of business. The stock exchanges that are associations of persons are to be converted into a for-profit company. Which of the above statements is or are correct? Please consider option C, both 1 and 2. Demutualization means the separation of the ownership from the management in the day-to-day running of business, and the stock exchanges that are associations of persons are to be converted into a for-profit company. Consider the following statements. SCBI regulates the trading of shares in the stock exchanges. Forward Market Commission regulates the trading of agricultural commodities in commodity exchanges. Which of the following statements is correct? Let's consider option A, 1 only. SCBI regulates the trading of shares in the stock exchanges. Consider the following statements about foreign portfolio investment. Returns in FPI are in the form of dividends and interest payments. Investments through FPI does not entail control of the management of the company. FPI is the passive holding of securities and other financial assets by a foreign firm. Which of the following statements is correct? Please consider option D, all of the above. Returns in FPI are in the form of dividends and interest payments. Investments through FPI does not entail control of the management of the company. FPI is the passive holding of securities and other financial assets by a foreign firm. Consider the following statement with respect to rights issue. In rights issue, the existing shareholders are given the first right to additional shares. In rights issue, the existing shareholders are issued additional shares for free. Which of the statements is or are correct? Let's consider option A, 1 only. In rights issue, the existing shareholders are given the first right to additional shares. Conferring of the status on PSUs such as Maniratna and Maharatna is done by Department of Disinvestment, Department of Economic Affairs, Department of Heavy Industries, Department of Public Enterprises. Please consider option D, Department of Public Enterprises. Agreement on Agriculture has identified different subsidies on the basis of color. Which of the following statements are correct about amber box subsidy? All domestic support measures considered to distort production and trade, with some exceptions, fall into the amber box. Developed countries are not at all allowed to provide such subsidies to their farmers. Select the code from following. Please consider option A, 1 only. All domestic support measures considered to distort production and trade, with some exception, fall into the amber box. Which of the following statements are correct regarding Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana? It provides life coverage of rupees 2 lakh for the accidental demise and permanent total disability and rupees 1 lakh for permanent partial disability. It requires a premium of rupees 12 per annum. Individuals within the age group of 18 to 70 years have a participating savings bank account can subscribe to this scheme. Select the code from following. This answer option D, all of the above. 1, 2 and 3. Which of the following statements are correct regarding Electronic National Agricultural Market? eNAM is an online trading platform for agricultural commodities in India. Only food grains are listed on eNAM for trading. Select the code from following. This answer option A, 1 only. eNAM is an online trading platform for agricultural commodities in India. FCI on the instruction from the government sells excess stocks out of central pool through open market sales scheme. Domestic. In the open market from time to time at predetermined prices. What are the objectives of open market sales scheme? To enhance the supply of food grains during the lean season and deficit seasons, to moderate the open market prices, to offload the excess stocks, to reduce the carrying cost of food grains. Select the code from following. This answer is option D, all of the above. To enhance the supply of food grains during the lean season and deficit seasons, to moderate the open market prices, to offload the excess stocks, to reduce the carrying cost of food grains. Which of the following sectors has been recently granted the infrastructure status? Inland waterways, logistics, minor ports, railway lines. This answer is option B, logistics. Rashtriya Garima Abhiyan is a national campaign to rehabilitate the homeless and destitute persons and provide them with suitable sources of livelihood, release the sex workers from their practice and provide them with alternative sources of livelihood, eradicate the practice of manual scavenging and rehabilitate the manual scavengers, release the bonded laborers from their bondage and rehabilitate them. This answer is option C, eradicate the practice of manual scavenging and rehabilitate the manual scavengers. Consider the following statements with respect to Gwadar. It is located in the Pakistani province of Sindh. Gwadar's port is being developed as part of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Select the correct statement. This answer is option B, 2 only. Gwadar's port is being developed as a part of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Consider the following statements about Delhi Declaration on Renewable Energy. It was adopted by the Indian Ocean Rim Association. It calls for promotion of technology development and transfer, strengthening of public-private partnerships in renewable energy, and collaboration with the member nations of the International Solar Alliance. Select the correct code. This answer is option C, both 1 and 2. Consider the following statements about Pallu-Koro fault. It is a strike-slip fault where the two sides slide past each other horizontally. It caused the 2018 Sulawesi earthquake and tsunami. Select the correct statements. Let's consider option C, both 1 and 2. It is a strike-slip fault where the two sides slide past each other horizontally, and it caused the 2018 Sulawesi earthquake and tsunami. Consider the following statements about Rashtriya Vayosri Yojana. It provides physical aids and assisted living devices for senior citizens belonging to BPL category. The expenditure for implementation of the scheme is made from the Senior Citizens Welfare Fund. It is implemented through Artificial Limbs Manufacturing Corporation, PSU, under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Select the correct statement. Please consider option A, 1 and 2. It provides physical aids and assisted living devices for senior citizens belonging to BPL category, and the expenditure for implementation of the scheme is made from the Senior Citizens Welfare Fund. The 2018 Government e-Payments Adoption Ranking is published by World Economic Forum, World Trade Organization, World Economic Forum, none of the above. This answer option D, none of the above. Which of the following is registered as geographical indication? Alfonso mango, dazzling tea, Nasik Valley wine. Select the correct code. This answer option D, all of the above. Alfonso mango, dazzling tea, and Nasik Valley wine. PhDs live predominantly in which of the following areas? Iraq, Algeria, Uzbekistan, Jordan. This answer option A, Iraq. GMAX is a maritime exercise between India and Japan, Indian Ocean Rim Association member states, BIMSTEC member states, Quad member states. This answer है option A, India and Japan. Consider the following statements about Gloriosa superba. It is only found in the lower Himalayas. It is used in treatment of rheumatism. Select the correct statements. This answer option B, 2 only. It is used in the treatment of rheumatism. Executive order issued by the US is often seen in news associated with countering America's adversaries through Sanctions Act, Logistics Exchange Memorandum of Agreement, Sanctions with respect to Iran, North American Free Trade Agreement. This answer option C, sanction with respect to Iran. Consider the following statements about International Social Security Association. It was founded under the auspices of the International Labour Organization when Universal Declaration of Human Rights was adopted by the UNGA. It is the world's leading international organization for social security institutions, government departments, and agencies. Select the correct statements. This answer option B, 2 only. It is the world's leading international organization for social security institutions, government departments, and agencies. Tharo community was in news recently. They primarily live in which of the following areas? Western Ghats, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep Islands, Indian Terai. This answer is option D, Indian Terai. The term Panduvargudam refers to a pulley to draw water from the well. Ancient Egyptian funerary rituals. UNESCO heritage destroyed by ISIS in Syria. None of the above. This answer is option D, none of the above. Consider the following statements about MedWatch, which was recently in news. It is an international humanitarian medical non-governmental organization of French origin. It is known for its project in conflict zones and in countries affected by endemic diseases. Select the correct statements. This answer is option D, neither one nor two. Consider the following statement with respect to Ekta Parishad. It is particularly focused on land and livelihood issues amongst marginalized communities in rural India. It was founded by Mahatma Gandhi. Select the correct statements. This answer is option A, 1 only. It is particularly focused on land and livelihood issues amongst marginalized community in rural India. Which of the following countries is associated with Moscow format? United States of America, India, China. Select the correct code. This answer is option B, 2 and 3, India and China. Consider the following statements about Press and Registration of Books Act 1867. Registrar of Newspapers for India was established by amending the Press and Registration of Books Act 1867. It allows a publisher to get a title registered and hold on to it for decades. Select the correct statements. This answer option C, both 1 and 2. Registrar of Newspaper for India was established by amending the Press and Registration of Books Act 1867, and it allows a publisher to get a title registered and hold on to it for decades. Section 151A of the Representation of the People Act 1951 deals with election offences, election disputes, बाई इलेक्शंस, रजिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज। तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, बाई इलेक्शंस। Consider the following statements about Kalakad Mundanathurai Tiger Reserve. Agastyamalai Biosphere Reserve is in the core zone of the reserve. It is bordered by Biligiri Rangana Hills. Select the correct statements. This answer is option A, one only. Agastyamalai Biosphere Reserve is in the core zone of the reserve. World Economic Outlook is published by International Monetary Fund, World Bank, World Trade Organization, World Economic Forum. This answer is option A, International Monetary Fund. Consider the following statements about Digi Yatri. It is a student exchange program organized by Ministry of Human Resource Development. It is focused on Jammu and Kashmir and northeastern states of India. Select the correct statements. This answer is option D, neither one nor two. Consider the following statements about Solicitor General of India. He or she is the primary lawyer in the Supreme Court of India. He or she is appointed by the President of India under Article 76(1) of the Constitution and holds office during the pleasure of the President. Select the correct statement. This answer is option D, neither one nor two. Consider the following statements with respect to hothouse earth. It is an urban area or metropolitan area that is significantly warmer than its surrounding rural areas due to human activities. The main cause of this is due to the modification of land surfaces. Select the correct statements. This answer is option D, neither one nor two. Consider the following statements about Environment Pollution Prevention and Control Authority. It was constituted with the objective of protecting and improving the quality of the environment and controlling environmental pollution in the National Capital Region. It was constituted at the behest of the Supreme Court. It is mandated to enforce graded response action plan as per the pollution levels. Select the correct statements. As answer option D, all of the above. It was constituted with the objective of protecting and improving the quality of the environment and controlling environmental pollution in the National Capital Region. It was constituted at the behest of the Supreme Court, and it is mandated to enforce graded response action plan as per the pollution levels. इसी के साथ हमारा आज का टेस्ट सीरीज़ कंप्लीट होता है। तो ये था हमारा आज का टेस्ट सीरीज़। और अगर आप चैनल पर नए हैं तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दीजिए और नोटिफिकेशन आइकन पर क्लिक कर दीजिए ताकि आपको सारे वीडियोस के अपडेट्स मिल सकें। और अगर आपको वीडियो अच्छा लगे तो लाइक कर दीजिए, साथ ही अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर कीजिए ताकि उन्हें भी हेल्प हो सके। तो हमारा आज का वीडियो यहीं तक था। थैंक यू, थैंक्स फॉर ज्वाइनिंग।